So the training facilities are going to be finished in 2 weeks. It's cost us 3.7 million. So welcome to today's episode, and I'm going to title today's episode A Season of Failure. Now, first off, I wanted to upgrade our stadium. We spoke about it in the last episode. I spoke to the board, and they did come back and say that they just don't feel we have the fan base for a new stadium, which I do get, but the fact that we can't play in our own stadium in European games, I did hope that might have changed. Now, we had money in the bank, and we are making money each season being in Europe, that I thought, okay, we'll upgrade the training facilities again. It's going to be 1.5 million again. So I requested it, 3.7 million to upgrade it. So we are going to go up to a 4-star training facilities, which is fantastic, is going to help us develop, is going to help the players get better. But oh my god, that was expensive and a lot more money than I expected. So we're going to start by looking at some transfers. We had some ins and outs. Unfortunately, one of the big outs you can see on the screen. Our top quality goalkeeper, Thomas Horgan, has gone to Udinese for 3 million plus 50% of next sale. Now valued up to 3.2, there's a chance there we're going to get another 1.5-2 million off him. I am going to try to get him back on loan for next season. 100%. One of our weak points is our goalkeeper position, and London unfortunately just has not been doing. He's not looked solid. I have brought a goalkeeper in on loan who we're going to look at, but I miss Horgan. We had to sell him for the 3 million. I think 3 million plus 50% next sale was money we couldn't say no to. Plus, when Udinese came in, he got very excited and upset that I wouldn't let him go. So, in terms of the people who've joined us then over the summer, none of which are first team players except the guy on loan from Hönnefoss, but we'll get into that. So, first off, joining us, recommended by one of our scouts, is a Burundi striker, not capped by the national team yet, playing for our under-19s at the minute, learning the language, on only £130 a week as well, by the way. I think he has a lot of potential. He has a lot of potential, and if not, we move him on and we make some cash. 100% there. The next one is a central defender who I couldn't see everything about, but there was a couple of clubs interested and we picked him up on a free. He's English stroke Ghanaian, and I think he's decent. He's not a world beater. He's playing for our B team, and he's probably going to stay there for another year or two just to see if he develops. If he doesn't, I do think we can cash in on him and make a bit of money at least. He's on a low wage as well. So the next one is a goalkeeper who popped up in our scouting, and I was interested to see if we could sign him because I think long term he could be a very good player. He's only 5'11", but he's only 16. So in theory, his goalkeeping ability should improve, and his height and physical should improve as well. He wasn't interested in joining us. He wanted to continue his development at Hönnefoss, which is weird because then when I asked him to come in on loan, he was more than happy to. So I brought him in on loan. I used him in the European games, and he has played a game in the league as well. I think he's decent. So the next player picked up from KFUM Oslo, again coming playing for our B team stroke youth team. He's decent, really good mentals, good work rate, teamwork, etc. Decent physicals, not the best, but he is only 18, and again can play both fullback positions and defensive mid. I think it was a solid pickup on a free transfer. 100% really pleased with that. Then we picked up on deadline day again taking part in deadline day is unearthing some talents. All seems to be from America. Charlotte Eagles, we picked up a striker playing for our B team again, and again we can cash in on him if he doesn't develop much in the next 6 months. And then also a right back who again isn't a world beater, but again we can cash in on him, valued really highly, which is strange because I don't think he's a world beater. And let me tell you now, if we got a 500,000 bid, I'd sell him 100% for 500,000. No question about it. But that's the transfer. So as you can see, over the summer we didn't bring in any first-team players except for the goalkeeper, who's a potential. I'm almost giving him football to try to suck up to him so we can negotiate a deal with Hunafos, because at the age of 16, I just think he has a lot of potential. Okay, so looking at the league games, the league scores, the league results, you can see it's not been a successful second half of the season. I do think European football played a massive part, especially this period here of 3 defeats in 4, where we conceded 6 goals back-to-back against Rosenborg and then Strømsgodset, and both of them games I was heavily rotating, trying to keep fit to get into the Europa group stages, and it cost us massively. So let's go through it. We lost to Molde 2-1 before Fredrikstad, Sogndal and Tromsø victories ended July. Moving into August then, we lost to Odds 1-0 before losing 6-0 to Rosenborg and 6-1 to Strømsgodset. We did end August with a victory over Sandefjord. That was followed up with a 2-0 defeat to Viken Stavanger, 3-0 victory over Bøder Glimt, 2-0 defeat to Kristiansund before beating Stabæk. And it's at these moments you're realising we are so inconsistent. We are giving away the chance of a title. At this point it was gone. But we are giving away the chance of even trying to hold our own in these games, trying to battle on. And then October just summed it up with no victories. A 3-0 defeat to Brann with Pereira picking up a red card. Let me show you the red card, and I think, if anything, it will sum up exactly how it's been going. So, yeah, why? Just why? just why? Then follow up with a 1-0 defeat to Vålerenga and then a 1-1 away at Lillestrøm. Now, after this game, I switched our tactic a little bit and I went with a more defensive tactic, and we did do a little bit better near the end. We lost to Molde at home. You would think that's not that bad, but Molde were mid-table this year. And that was followed up with a 2-1 victory over Fredrikstad, a 3-0 victory over Sogndal, and then a 1-0 victory over Tromsø to end the season. Saw us end the season in 5th place, which is the same as last season. So back-to-back 5th place finishes. The reason I'm saying it's a failure is we have not qualified for Europe next season. And it's frustrating and annoying that we are now going to have a season out of Europe, a season without the financial gains of Europe, which means there's going to be no facility upgraded next year, no youth facility upgrade, which is needed. Our youth previews come through, because obviously in Norway you get the youth intake in March, and the season starts in March, April. The previews come through and it's all ease, so we're not getting any talent through, it looks like, again this year. But a 5th place finish. But if we go on to the stages side of things, you can see here, if we go on league table, home form, we came in 4th place home form, won 11, drew 1, lost 3. Conceding 6 goals all season at home as well, by the way, was the best in the division. But then we looked at our away form, and oh my god, it was bad. So we won 5, drew 4, lost 6. Had a negative 12 goal difference as well away from home. So it just shows that maybe I got complacent in terms of the tactical setup, going in with the same tactical idea home and away. Maybe I got complacent with some of the weaker players could step in these league games, in and around the cup, and perform. That is also another option I'm looking at. But all in all, we were very, very disappointing in the league this season. And yes, we came 5th. Yes, we were close. We were within 9 points of the title. but we don't have European football next year now. So going into season 2030, we are not playing in Europe. So if we have a look through then the Europa Conference League to see maybe we are playing in Europe after the winter, but not for long, no doubt. So we started off against this Jedinstvo and got a 5-0 victory away from home before a 6-0 victory at home. And that saw us come up against Krakow from Poland. Now we lost the first leg 1-0 before bouncing back with a 3-0 victory at Sanezol Stadium to see us through to the next round, where we will come up against Mura. Now Mura are a Slovenian side, and we got a 0-0 draw in the first leg at home before going away to them and getting a 1-0 victory with Fanny on the score sheet. By the way, he has scored some important goals this season, so let's make sure we do give him a mention. But that's always go through to the group stage, and I'm going to remove him. We're going to talk about it. So as you can see here, we started off against Valo and got a 3-0 victory before a 1-0 victory at home to Suzeski. And a pyre on the score sheet there. We got lucky. We lost to Lazio 1-0 at home, and then we lost away in Rapid Wien 3-0. But we have ended with back-to-back victories. A 1-0 victory over Botev and RFS from Latvia. We got 2-0 victory away from home. And that saw us finish in 14th place. And I'm happy with that. 14th place finish sees us into the knockout rounds of the Europa Conference League. Only 6 games in the Conference League. In the Europa League, there is 8 games they play, isn't it? So, yeah. But there's only been 4 games played in the Conference League so far. That's interesting. Hang on, why does it keep messing around? Because I done the wrong record. Okay, so on overall 6 games, yeah, and then they played 2 games after the winter break. Yeah, so there's 8 games in the Europa League, only 6 games in the Conference League. So we qualified, we into the knockout rounds. 2nd year in a row in European competition going to the knockout rounds, which makes it even more disappointing that next season we're not even going to be in Europe. In terms of the coefficients, how have we been doing points-wise then? We've picked up 7.1 points this season so far. 14.4 last year was insanely good, but that will see us next year on 46.825. We don't catch anybody ahead of us, but nobody behind us is catching us as well, which is nice. So if we can have success in the knockouts, you never know how things will go, but for now we're sitting in 11th and we'll be staying in 11th next season. Now I do know going into the next video we do need to recap how the other teams in Europe are doing, so don't worry, we will be recapping that in more depth in the next episode. I forgot in the last episode. It's been a few weeks since I recorded. Give me a break. So in terms of competitions and how teams have been doing, I had a lot of faith that our under-19s could push on again this season. We've got some good talent. We've got some good young players who we'd signed to add to the squad, like so Vinicius was playing. The youngster from Hunefos, the goalkeeper, was getting some game time as well. We got relegated. So in terms of a season of failure, not only have we failed to qualify for Europe, we failed to get far in the domestic cup. Our B team, they didn't regain the Norwegian Cup. If you remember, they won it last season. The Youth Cup, they went out early on. And they've also now been relegated back to the regional division for next year. Very, very disappointing, I think would be the best way to put it. I can't believe some of the games we played and some of the results we put off. The worst thing, brace yourself for this, the worst thing is our under-19 manager has been poached. If I can show you where he's gone, it was Rebru, I think it was. Yeah. So he has gone on. He's now the manager of Rebru, our under-19 manager. He got poached 3 days after getting us relegated. So we got relegated, and they were so impressed by that relegation. They were so impressed by it that they then gave him a job. Blows my mind. So, moving on to the squad. Oh, I think we need to make some changes, some big changes over the winter. In terms of who's been playing the most, then minutes played. Let me just auto-size this. So minutes played, Moen with 3,728. Topped that, our young defender we picked up from Kristiansund on a free a couple of years ago now. I think this was his third full season playing for us. And then Zittman, Pereira, and then you have Urschel, Scallon, Jørgensen, Lunin, Sotte, Apaya, Fanny, Larsen, Zeke, who will be leaving us by the way, Hilm, Holton. But down the bottom, in terms of the least amount of games played, so you have Kristoffersen, you have Horgan, but let's ignore him. I've moved him up from our under-19s up to our first team for the coming season. He is going to be a rotation option. We need more homegrown academy players in that squad, and he is a decent player. But then looking down, Seb Olesen only played 469 minutes. Fiskerstrand played 535. The young goalkeeper, that's okay. Vinicius, Slaveland, Bastians, Sotte, Bergson, Maeda. So, for me now, going in next season, I've got to look at some of these. Okay, Slaveland, he's 32 now. He's on 1,800 a week. He is one of our highest earners. If I go on the highest earner, he's what? 5th highest earner. He's not playing. So I'm going to offer him a new contract as a backup. If he takes less than 1,000 a week, we'll keep him. If not, unfortunately, the academy player Chris Slaveland, age 32, might be moving on. Unless I get sucked in by the fact that he's an academy player. But again, I've got to take into account that we can only have 25 players. Youth players have to be registered too. And it's just an absolute pain in the arse. I don't understand why under 21s can't be exempt from registration for the league games. That would be a big help. I'm just saying. Norway, if you want to help develop, fix that. Zittman. Has Zittman played amazing this season? Let's have a look, shall we? Stats. Let's go on stats just for the league campaign. So 23 starts, 3 goals, 3 assists. Expected assist 2.73, 2 goals. So he has done better than his XG in terms of that. 1 man of the match performance. As somebody who I want to use as almost a playmaker style thing, that's disappointing. Shots on target 37%, headers 171, pass percentage 85, tackles 174. When you work your way down here, so chances created 7, expected assist 2.73, key passes 27, expected assists per 90 is 0.12, interceptions 32, dribble 0.4 per 90, minutes on the pitch per assist 682 minutes on the pitch per assist. Does it justify his high wage? No. When I go through, right, Maeda, Slaveland, Zittman, 3 of my top 5 players have just not done it. They've just not done it. Pereira in that defensive mid, they always get a low average rating. But if we go into the stats, and again, let's just go to the league itself. These are what I'm interested in for him. Tackles 1, 73%. Pass percentage 89. See, key tackles 1, interceptions 47, yellow cards, 900 passes, 89%. Tackles 1, 51, 73%. Headers 1, 35%. See, again, another situation where when you look at him, mentally fantastic. 21 years old, jump reach of only 6 is an issue when it comes to the headers 1, we know that. Does he justify being on one of my highest earners? Does he justify being one of my better paid players? And wait, he's only squad player. I thought he was an important player. Does he justify it? These are the questions I'm going to ask this winter. We've got some high earners who are just not performing. They are just not performing. And Pereira, if we could move him on for 2.5 million, and for example, why can't he play defensive midfield? He's 6'4". He's going to offer a lot more in that position defensively. I just feel like he could maybe provide a lot more of a rock in that defensive midfield, and then maybe we switch to something like an anchor. Maybe we switch to something like maybe Bowen midfield on defend instead of support. Something which is based to suit him. But at the same time, we cutting down the numbers of players who were not performing. But one thing I would say is we are desperate in this middle. Now, Sorta has impressed me this year. He's impressed me. What hasn't impressed me is 0 assists. But I just feel like in the games, he's always in and around. He's always playing them passes. He's always looking to link up. He's impressed me with how he's looked in games. Zittman, no. Pereira, no. Defensively, we've looked decent. Larsson's been playing because Fanny's picked up a fairly serious knock. He is on his way back. But Larsson's been the substitute right back for a few games. But what would you change? What would you change in this squad going into next season? Because there's going to be some big changes needed. In the next episode, you will see 3 or 4 of the first team players have left, and I think we're going to have to sign and spend to bring in at least one 4-star central midfielder. And what I mean by that 4-star central midfielder is one who slots into the starting lineup straight away. Is a guaranteed first-team player. Again, Orshal up top. He's hit double figures with 10 goals. He's just not scoring that many goals. He is wanted by a couple of teams. But again, he's on a very low wage. I'm torn at the minute. I'm torn. Also because tactically we looked really poor with our home tactic of the 4-5-1 more attacking. We've looked really poor. I am considering something like this, just to try to regain the ball a little bit more, try not to give it away so much. Maybe have them bombing on, and if we are playing with an anchor, that's also an option. But there's so many things swirling as you're trying to decide, okay, this is what we need to do, this is how we need to change it, this is the tactic we need to look at. It's difficult because we've missed out on Europe. That means I can cut the squad size by 3 or 4 players technically. It means we can maybe bring up a couple of youngsters as the backups instead of the first team, instead of the high earners who are just not doing it. And we can cash in on them and use that money to compensate the fact we're not in Europe. But at the same time, I feel like I want to push hard over the next 12 months to add 1 or 2 key players to this squad. But it's finding the right ones. And it's holding on to the right players. We still have a very young squad. Slaveland and Zeke, both contracts run out. So when they go, nobody over the age of 30 is going to be in the squad. Bergerson at 28 hasn't featured as much start-wise, 9 starts, but 23 games off the bench. Only 4 goals and 4 assists this season. Probably the worst season for him. I do think our goalkeeper cost us. I just feel like Lennon at only 6 foot has been causing us issues in games. Which, yes, I know is rich when we spoke about the fact that Lingden's only 5'11", but he's only 16. I do expect him to keep growing. I expect him to hit 6'2", 6'3", hopefully, in theory. But I do think we need to bring in a goalkeeper, be it Horgan on loan from Udinese or be it someone we actually look at picking up. There's a lot of and ahhing in this episode, but hopefully you understand why. Because we have had a huge failure in missing out on that top 4 or getting to the cup final and qualifying that way. It's imperative that we qualify for Europe next year. So I do think a couple of changes are needed in the squad in terms of freeing up 1 or 2 spots in the squad so we can add some more quality. we'll see. I'll keep pushing on. I'm going to keep investing my time to develop the squad properly and seeing exactly what we can do. So a recap on the rest of Norway then. So going down was Sandefjord and Fredrikstad. Tromsø survived. Coming up is Hønefoss and Ålesund. So Hønefoss coming up. They start in the 4th tier, by the way. KFUM, Oslo, Jerv, and our feeder club, Gjøvik Lyn, going down. They were, I don't know if the players I gave them just weren't good enough or what, but they went down, weirdly. So coming up is Bryne coming up, and Kjelsås. Going down is Ølern, Strømmen, and Strindheim. And then the 2nd division coming up is Ullkisse and Mjøndalen in the playoff. Molde's B team, Sandnes Ulf's B team, and Sotre going down. And coming up is Ålesund's B team, and Skarp, Tromsø, Flint, and Arne going down. Coming up is Sogndal's B team. Going down is Akre, Bjord, and Stryn. Coming up is Strømsgodset's B team. Going down is Valdres Brud, one of my local clubs. Going up is Sarpsborg. Going down is Sprint, Volda, and Tveredalsdalen. Coming up is Vard Haugesund. They've dropped quite far down there though. Coming back up though now. Going down is Tinset, Fu, and Riga. Then in the final division, Gjelsåsen have gone up, and Tønsberg, Urad, and Instrada are going down. In terms of the cup, then Brann won it, so that's why Brann qualified for the Conference League or the Europa League. Maybe I need to check that. And Sogndal actually got to the finals as well. So no matter what, no matter who won it, we weren't qualifying, and they got the Europa League. Okay, so 2 teams into the Champions League: Rosenborg and Vålerenga. Odds and Brann in the Europa League, and Bøder Glimt in the Conference League. It keeps it interesting, I'm telling you that, 100%. They're very rotated in terms of league winners qualifying for Europe, etc. You can see Molde finished in 8th place. They had an absolute shocking season, But I've been Paul, also known as Northman. Thank you for watching. I'm going to crack on and try to make a success of this going into next season, and I will see you next time.